What's up, you beautiful old rock star? If you're a Gen X or, God forbid, even older, and you're a professional singer, you can't afford to damage your voice. Why? Because when you get older, your vocal cords don't recover as easily as the young bucks. It's okay. If you're a young buck and you're watching this going, what's this crusty old guy going to say? You might want to stick around, because if you do want to end up singing for a long time, you're probably going to want to incorporate some of this when you do reach the ripe old age of old. I'm 53 years old, still sing every weekend, and it's been a long time since I first started singing, and I've gone through a lot of mistakes, like especially when I was really quite young. I was like yelling and shouting and screaming. I wanted to get like a more distorted sound in my voice, a more raspy sound, and that led to a lot of kind of short-term damage. I was able to recover, thank goodness. But I learned very quickly that if you sing in an unhealthy way, you won't be able to do the gig the next day. And it's just not very cool to have to call up and go, oh man, I'm not going to be able to sing, or to, like, after a gig, like, not be able to talk or anything like that because you've blown your voice out. So there's a few key things that I want to go through. If you're an older dude and you're like, you want to get that distortion in there for some of the songs that you do, like some of the rock songs, you want to make it sound more legit and more rocky, then there's some distortion that you can add and you could do it in a very safe way, but it all starts off with support. If you already get hoarse and you kind of run out of air, and sometimes you just have that pain in your voice, then odds are you're not using support correctly. So I've created a course called Singing Support Secrets, and it basically has everything that you need to know about support. I think anybody can benefit from the Singing Support Secrets. So anyway, there's a link down below. I'm not trying to sell you anything. It's for free, so just check it out. So anytime we're trying to add in distortion to something, we want to start off in a clean sound. The reason that is because that's like your kind of gauge. That's your reset point. For example, we'll take like the beginning of Welcome to the Jungle, because everybody's familiar with that. You know where you are. So what I'm using there is what's called a false fold. The false chords, the false folds, the vestibular folds, whatever you want to call them. But I'm going to just tell you how you get that sound. And then we'll also use the fry sound. So we'll do a little bit of false fold stuff, and then we'll do a fry. And the best way to do this is just to experiment with different sounds. So if you take a clean sound, you know where you are, yeah, and then you just kind of play around with different shapes in your throat and in your mouth, make just really goofy sounds. You might come across something and you go, whoa, that's kind of cool. But as long as you have that support behind whatever you're using, you're not really going to damage your voice. And if it does feel uncomfortable, then stop doing it. Then go, okay, well, I better not do that. Generally, if you're going to cough when you do it, if you feel like that need to cough, then that is like your true vocal cords, your true vocal folds. Every time I say folds, I think of my best friend when I was in elementary, junior high school, something like that. Ed Folds, best friend. Anyway, I digress sometimes. It's like monkey mind. And I know when I've felt that damage when I've gone to cough, that's where I was back there when I was like, and you feel like that need to cough. Generally, if I've gone like, I used to try to kind of pretend to emulate Lemmy from Motorhead. That makes me really like want to cough and that really feels like it's just vibrating too close to the chords. It does feel like my true vocal folds were kind of slamming together a little bit too much. But you want to like manipulate everything above your true vocal cords to kind of get different sounds. And with placement, very forward, very small, yawning into it. So that I'm using a little bit of a, you can hear that is a vocal fry sound. So the two kind of main parts that will distort in your voice are your false folds, your vestibular folds, and that comes from pushing a little bit more air up through kind of I feel it up through the nasal passage. Now, everybody feels things different ways, so it's important for you to feel your way through this. And so what I would do is I would hold back the air, and then I would, it's almost like going, ha, ha, or like a cat, like a fighting cat. You're you're emulating like a baby crying. You just literally just pushing from here, just like pa pa pa, and then you can push a little bit more air to where it's almost like you know where you are? Let's just kind of reset back to the, you know where you are? You. So that, you. That is the vocal fry sound. So the fry is like when you just wake up in the morning. That's the distinction between the two. False folds is like really blowing more air. Now, not blowing as in blowing a lot of air through open chords, but the chords are closed off. I'm just kind of really trying to blow air. So you can see if I'm not even, I can still do it. It's like a Marge Simpson-y kind of a sound. And then the vocal fry is like when you first wake up in the morning and you're like, oh man, I'm so tired. I need coffee. Again, I am holding back the air, and I'm, it might help to kind of swallow before to get your larynx quite high if you're going to take it up high. So I feel and again, when I say I feel, it's because people feel things differently. You can't say you should feel it here. Well, I mean, a lot of people might say you should feel it here, and sometimes I do mistakenly because like I feel it, the vocal fry kind of just here, up here, above the danger zone of the true folds, head folds. And I'm really tensing up my support muscles, my kind of everything around the core, like if you're doing like a crunch or something like that. And then, so I feel that kind of more in the front-ish, or like right here, just above the danger zone, like I said, but like more at the front, and then the false fold is more. And then you could do a hybrid of the two, kind of. False fold. Fry. So that's kind of a hybrid between the two. As you get higher, the vocal fry sound is going to be it's a little harder to distinguish between the vocal fry when it gets higher up and the false fold, because they both have kind of a really, really tight vibrational sound, like the when you're down here, that's kind of a lower wave form, or a larger wave form, and when you you can still hear that there's it's got that bite, but it's a smaller wave form, and then that's a really small waveform. That's, I feel like it's just a very bright, kind of airy distortion, and the two of them are kind of very similar when you bring them up in the register. Anyway, look, I hope this helps your crusty, dusty chords to stay safe through all that kind of the rock sound, but experiment. And listen to other rock sounds, like the professional rock sound, and try to kind of emulate them with that holding back of the air so it's safe. And then you might find that you're able to emulate like your favorite singers just by kind of playing around with that, and then take it back to reset in a nice clean wherever you're at. Just to reset, so you know that you're not damaging and you're not getting locked into a distortion where you don't want to stay locked in. You want to be able to sing clean parts as well as distorted, to kind of get that nuance of singing a song. Anyway, I hope this helped. Rock your best vocals where your best keeps getting better. See you on the next one. Oh, you crusty old person, you. I love you.